Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Falcon Crypto ranking. In this one, I want to take a closer look at Cardano. I think Cardano is well known as well by this point, and I think we'll get to that part later with the Twitter, but it's much liked along my it's liked very much by my Twitter followers as well, so that's pretty cool. So let's take a closer look. Let's fill this one in. Cardano. So once again, ignore the measurements here as we haven't filled anything in yet. What I want to point out to people who are new and who are watching like this one for the first time, if this one is the first time you're looking at my crypto ranking kind of system sheet, which I've created, I'd advise you go back and look at the XRP one. In the XRP one, it's a bit longer. I explain more about the calculations in the sheet and stuff like that as well. As people who've seen one of these before, they know down here I've got the CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, CoinPaprika APIs that pull in data as well. That being said, might as well refresh that right now while we're talking. But there's a lot of other stuff like how I score and rate stuff as well. I'll touch on some stuff as I walk through it right now, but the XRP one is a bit more comprehensive, I guess. All right, so have I read the white paper? I have. Not gonna lie, I haven't finished it yet. It's quite long, and I wanted to get a video out for you today. As you can see here, this one has 67 pages. I believe that this is a newer version of it. It's a little bit shorter, has 44 pages. But I know enough about Cardano to be able to fill in my sheet from previous research, and I want to touch on a few things from the white papers anyway. So yes, I definitely have read it, but I will continue to finish it in the next day as well. So just for now, let's move on. So an ICO. Has Cardano had an ICO? Yes, they have. As some of you might know, I personally have nothing against ICOs, but they're not scoring the full points if they had one because of trouble that I might see down the line. It's not a lot of points that get deducted or that they miss out on, but it is something that does make a difference. So the use case, and there's a few things actually before we continue here, I do want to kind of mention from the white papers. I think this is very important. So we present Ouroboros, the first blockchain protocol based on proof of stake, with rigorous security guarantees. So I just wanted to point this part out here, right? That they are the first blockchain based on proof of stake. For people who might be completely new to crypto, take Bitcoin, which is based on proof of work, which is quite energy intensive to guarantee the security. I personally think that proof of work doesn't work. It's not scalable. And I think that there will be a lot of issues with that in the future, be it regarding environment concerns or whatever. I think everything will eventually have to move away from proof of work. Now, as you can see here, Cardano did that and started with proof of stake. For someone completely new to proof of stake, basically it takes away the massive energy consumption, and instead it locks up value. I am also not a massive fan of this. I think it's better than proof of work, but what I don't like about it, I think it's called the golden rule, eh? He who has the gold makes the rules. So basically, the more money you have, the more power you will have on the network, and it's just something that I'm not a big fan of, because I know there are other possibilities like proof of consensus. But for now, proof of stake, I do believe, is definitely an improvement from proof of work. Okay, now that being mentioned, I also wanted to mention this part because I thought this was pretty cool to know as well. So I'm just going to read this out. In the spirit of many open source projects, Cardano did not begin with a comprehensive roadmap or even an authoritative white paper. Rather, it embraced a collection of design principles and engineering best practices and avenues for exploration. So I thought that was pretty cool. So they kind of set like guidelines for themselves and not setting everything in stone from the beginning, but also being open to changes and stuff like that down the line, which you'll see now in a second as well. So what they kind of included are the following: separation of accounting and computation into different layers, implementation of core components in high modular functional code, small groups of academics and developers competing with peer reviewed research, heavy use of interdisciplinary teams, including early use of InfoSec experts, fast integration between white papers, implementation, and new research required to correct issues discovered during review. Now, I know a lot of this stuff is quite technical. I'm just going to list run through it fast, and then we can move on because it's just cool to know. Building in the ability to upgrade post-deployed systems without destroying the network. Development of a decentralized funding mechanism for future work. Okay, moving on to the last part. A long-term view on improving the design for cryptocurrencies so they can work on mobile devices with a reasonable and secure user experience. Bringing stakeholders closer to operations and maintenance of the cryptocurrency. Acknowledging the need to account for multiple assets in the same ledger. So I thought that was quite an interesting one as well. Abstracting transactions to include optional metadata in order to better conform to the needs of the legacy system. So I think that's a big one there as well. So they can include certain metadata so that it works better with the old system, right? That's something to be aware of as well, I think. The next one, learning from nearly 1,000 altcoins by embracing features that make sense. So I like that as well. They look at what other people were doing, and then they took bits and pieces from everything that they liked, and kind of worked that into Cardano as well. 3 more to go. Adopt a standards-driven process inspired by the Internet Engineering Task Force, using a dedicated foundation to lock down the final protocol design. So we will touch on the foundation now in a second as well when it comes to the team. So I'm just going to move on from that one now. Explore the social elements of commerce. And the last one is find a healthy middle ground for regulators to interact with commerce without compromising some core principles inherited from Bitcoin. So I like that one as well. Now, if all of that sounded gibberish to you, don't worry. I just wanted to mention like this list because I thought it was cool that they did it a bit different than just writing a white paper, sticking to it, and that's it. They have a bit more wiggle room here, and they also, as they also described themselves, they also looked at other projects, and at the same time, they tried to create something that would also work with the legacy system. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I just wanted to point that out. Now, moving away from the white papers and back into here. As I said, that list might have been very technical and not something for you. What I'm going to say here and summarize it again down into 2 words is smart contracts. That might not be everything, but it is the main thing that I'm kind of taking away from it here. Does that mean that I can do the same stuff as Ethereum? Yes, and I think it is a competitor for Ethereum. How this will work out down the line, I'm not sure, because obviously Ethereum was first. Certain things have already been built on Ethereum, and it will be quite difficult maybe to get them to move away from Ethereum and then to move on to Cardano. That being said, though, if Cardano is a lot better, then Ethereum might also slowly get phased out, and then if people just continue to build on Cardano, then that could take over in time. I don't really know how this is going to play out, but just for now, the use case is, in my eyes, smart contracts. Does it solve a problem? Yes, it does. Okay, now we're going to move on and look at evaluating the team. Now, what I normally do, and people who've watched my previous videos also know this, I love to use the Live Coin Watch for this. So I'm just going to move over there, Live Coin Watch. But it's actually not going to work for Cardano, and I just want to show you, even though I know it's not going to work. Because here, when I click on the team, you get a nice list of people, but most of these, their LinkedIn is either not working, or it's not up to date, or here, like this profile is not available. This one's not available. I think this guy here, if I remember correctly, yeah, works for before he moved to Cardano. So input output here, it works at a company called Tito Germany, which can't be found on LinkedIn. So there's just not a lot of information here. Look, the next one here is also not available. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. So the previous experience from the team members was hard, and I was actually, if I had not known about the Ethereum Foundation or the Cardano Foundation, I would have not given them these points. However, I want to show you this as well. If I go to Cardano, the Cardano website, I then look at, I think it was Discover Cardano people, I believe. Yes, so a couple of things here. So Cardano is built by a decentralized community of scientists, engineers, and thought leaders, united into a common purpose. So when it comes to actually researching the background, that's quite difficult. However, when I scroll down, we can have a look at the Cardano Foundation. And this here is the Cardano Foundation is an independent standards body that oversees and supervises the advancements of Cardano and the Cardano ecosystem. So what I want to do is I'm going to give them the points anyway, the same I did for Ethereum, because of the overseeing foundation, which I think will give them the guidance that they need. Because keep in mind, the whole reason why I'm actually looking at evaluating the team is I'm looking for people that know what they're doing, or at least get the guidance to go in the correct direction. Now, usually I can get a sense of that from their past experience, if they've worked for big companies or not. However, if they lack that experience themselves, but they put like a foundation in place with people that do have that experience, I find that acceptable too, right? So I'm going to give them the points here as well. Okay, so we're moving on now to Coin Paprika. Down to Cardano. So a couple of things we'll be looking for. The consensus mechanism. So we know what it is. That is the proof of stake. Where is it? Here we go. Proof of stake. They were, as they said in the white paper, the first ones to do this. So that's pretty cool. So they get the points here. Now, for people who've seen previous ones, proof of stake, as you can see, definitely scores a lot higher than proof of work. However, not as high as proof of consensus. It's just my personal preference, right? But this whole sheet is based on my personal preference. The platform, it's its own platform. It's not built on top of anything else, so it doesn't get any minus points there. The algorithm used is Ouroboros. I just put this in more for information than point scoring, but I just like to have it there. The org structure is semi-centralized. So it gets some points again here, just like Ethereum. Decentralized obviously scores the highest, centralized the least, and semi-centralized in between. Is it open source? Yes, it is. So that's good as well. It's a coin, not a token, so that's good too. Let's have a look at the GitHub side of things now. So here, code progress. GitHub contributors is 49. The GitHub stars is 156. The commits, so let's move over to GitHub to have a look at the commits. 6,329. 6,329. Then when we look at the languages, so these languages I have selected here are kind of just the most common ones. I've selected these because I think the more common the languages they use, the easier it is to build upon. Now I'm kind of stressing that right now because I know if I look at GitHub and at Cardano, that they have Haskell, which correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I'm not 100% sure about this one, but I'm pretty sure that they basically invented Haskell. But I might be wrong there. I just know that it's not very, very well known outside of Cardano. But once again, guys, I might be wrong there. But that's what my understanding is. So, however, besides Haskell, they do have HTML and JavaScript. So let's have a look here. We have got JavaScript and HTML. So they do get 2 points for that. Moving on. So when we look at the all-time high data points, Well, their all-time high is quite recent, 16th of May, so they don't get a lot of points for that one because, as I said in previous videos as well, the further away the all-time high was, I think the more likely it is it still has to make a big move. Same goes for the all-time high difference. You can see that they're now down almost 50%. So they do get some points here. However, it's probably not as much points as a SafeMoon or an XRP that we've looked at before, because they still have a long way to go to get back to their all-time high. When we look at the date added, it's been added here at CoinMarketCap in 1st of October 2017. So get some points for that, but obviously not as much as, say, a Bitcoin, an Ethereum, or an XRP. The reason I think projects, like older projects, score higher is just because they've proven their worth, or at least they're probably not going anywhere anytime soon. Market cap, so they are currently ranked number 5, so they're in that top 1 to 10 points part, so they get the full points there. Trading volume over the last 24 hours, so the 21 points here. It's actually similar to XRP there. Circulating supply points, they get them as well. I am quite happy with that because as I explained before, I like coins that have a max supply. If they don't have a max supply, obviously you can just have inflation by printing more and more, and I'm just not a big fan of that. So I like that. So no minus points for them. Liquidity. So let's have a look at Coin Paprika again. Liquidity. Here we can grab the liquidity, adding that one in. So gets some points here for liquidity. Number of exchanges is 60. Okay, and now we're going to move over to Lunar Crush. I know that the first one that we will be looking at, where are you, Cardano, is the top trading pair, which you can see here is USDT. Here we go. It would have been better if it would have been USD or USDC in my eyes, but USDT still scores some points. Market dominance. So let's have a look at the market dominance. So for the people who are unaware what this is, market dominance is a measurement of a market's cap weight a coin has compared to the market as a whole. So currently it is 3. So 3%. Moving on to the Galaxy score. The Galaxy score here is 66. So having a look here, the Galaxy score measures a coin's performance versus itself over time and how it is trending over the last 50 hours. In general, it indicates how healthy a coin is by looking at combined performance indicators across markets and deep social engagement. Scores greater than 50 are generally bullish, while scores less than 50 are generally bearish. Okay, so we have 66, which is above 50, which is good. So let's add that one in. Then we're going to move over to the alt rank. So what is the alt rank? Alt rank measures a coin's performance versus all other coins that we actively support, and which I mean Lunar Crush. In general, it is a unique measurement that combines altcoin price performance relative to Bitcoin and other social activity indicators across the entire crypto market. A coin can have a high altcoin alt rank of 1, even in a bear market situation. Currently here we can see it is 84. So 84 it is. Okay, and then the final one I want to add in here, oh, actually 2 more to go from Lunar Crush, is the correlation rank, which is this one, which is 58. I am not going too deep into the correlation rank because, as many of you would know, it's currently not used in my calculation. I'm just having it there for maybe if I might want to use it later on. Social dominance. So social dominance Yes, this one. So social dominance is a measurement of all social media volume a coin has compared to the market as a whole. So here it is, 1.38%. 1.38. Okay, moving on to Google Trends. Google Trends, Cardano. Change this from the Netherlands to worldwide, and we will see that it is currently 22. Okay, Google News results. So Cardano News, we can see here is just over 1 million results. Adding that one in there. Twitter, I did run a Twitter poll, and this is the result. So actually quite a lot of my Twitter following actually holds Cardano. It's a 67.9%, so 67.9. And you can see it's actually only second to XRP. So more people hold Cardano than Bitcoin and Ethereum who answered that poll. So I'm pretty cool to see that. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now we've everything filled in. Moving to the front, and we can see it has actually taken the 3rd spot with a long-term investment type rating as well. And I'm just going to rank this from low to high, and we can see Cardano here. I just want to point out again, I might not have explained that in the last video. So I've got 2 different types of ranking here. This is an unweighted ranking, and this is a weighted ranking for stuff that I find more important. And what you can see how that is ranked, you can see that up here. Because when we look at the different things like the project, the team, the tech, the market, performance, social, everything gets the same 200 points. But I weigh certain things heavier than others. Like for me, the project and the tech are more important than say the social media. You know, that kind of stuff. So that's why you can see certain rankings or certain weighing is given to it, and that's why you might see differences here. Now, it just so happens to be that this is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same order. However, in the future, we might see that change a little bit. But yeah, for now, I guess Cardano has taken the 3rd spot behind Ethereum, and I think the bigger differences you can see here actually are on the social media side and the market performance side at the moment. Other than that, it is actually pretty close to Ethereum, which you can see here because there's not a lot of points in between it. But yeah, that's it for today. Let me know what you guys think of Cardano, if you're a fan or not. I'd love to get more comments and your ideas on it. And of course, I'd love to hear which other coins we should look at next. I hope you like this one, guys, and yeah, catch you in the next one. All right, goodbye.